Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to animate our fish. For this, you can keep your preferences under auto tangents. If you don't have them already set to that, make sure to do so. Um, and so I'm going to set up my camera. Let's see. Turn on my resolution gate. There we go. Rotate my camera. And just have this move from left to right screen. So I'm going to do this in layers, meaning the first action I'm going to do is adjust the, actually, I'll work on the wave motion of the fish first. So um, the wave action is actually going to happen in the spine controls after the first control. The spine control, unless this fish is turning directions, um, it's just going to move forward. So here, behind it, I'm going to have it where it's every 20 frames, it's going to change rotations. And if anything, I can always adjust this motion um, later on. But what I'm going to do at frame 1, I'm going to make this, let's do 7 degrees and rotate Y. I'm going to press S. And then at frame 20, we're going to go to -7 for rotate Y. Press S. And then frame 40, 7, press S. Frame 60, -7, press S. Um, 80, back to 7. And then frame 100, -7. Okay. Alright, so for this control, I'm going to actually go to my graph editor now and switch to my animation workspace. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to select rotate Y. I'm going to copy these keyframes, right click, edit, copy, and I'm going to select the next control. I'll place it at frame 1, edit, paste. So now I have this already set up. The only difference is because the fish works in a wave formation, the direction that happens in the next control needs to happen a few frames later. So I'm going to take this curve, shift select, and move it 1, 2 frames ahead and see how this looks. You can kind of see it. We can either adjust the offset that this is happening. So we can do 3, I think I'm at frame 4 now. Let's see how this looks. And we can also adjust the degree of motion here. So I think that's something we need to think about here. So I'll drag select these keyframes and I'll move them to frame 10. I can even type in 10 here and it'll adjust here. Same thing, I'll drag select these keyframes and type in -10. And let's look at how this is. Let's press play. think it needs to be a little bit greater. Let me see. Okay, so 13. And we'll do negative 13 here. And so then we'll copy this curve, Command C, or edit, copy in the graph editor. Go to next control. Let me see. This control was occurring at frame 4. So I'll go to frame, let's do 6 for right now. I'll go to the next curve, and at frame 6, I'm going to go to edit, paste, and it'll paste right at frame 6. So now you can see more of this overlap and motion going on. Let's press play and see how this looks. And so what we can also do is increase this as well. So, or we can offset it as well. Let's try offsetting, see how this looks. So right now I'm at frame 6. Let's look at it at frame 8. So I'll move my marker of the playhead, select all the keyframes, and then shift select and drag to the right. See how this looks. See if I press play. Okay, I do like that. And then what I'll do before, or for the next control, I'll copy this, drag select it. This is at frame 8. Maybe I'll do it every 4 frames. I'll press Command, I'll copy this in the graph editor, and then I'll paste it in the next. So I had it at frame 8. This one will be at frame 12, just to go ahead and give it a go there. Paste. I think what I'll do though is increase the size here. Let's try 20 degrees. And negative 20 here. I might increase this one as well. Let's see how this looks. Maybe I'll drag this to 15. Negative 15. Okay, so I actually went to 22 here. Do negative 22 here. Okay, let's drag select and see how this looks. Okay. And so now you're probably wondering, well, Professor Benitez, this is only stopping at a certain point, and I have frames of no movement here. Ah, here we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to add infinity curves. So what infinity curves do, they continue the motion in repetition, depending on the values of the curves that you have here. So with this curve selected, let's start with the first spine control 2. We'll do with that one. We may want this to continue afterwards. So anything that happens and after any keyframes that you've created are post-infinity curves. Anything that happens beforehand are pre-infinity curves. So first things first, we need to tell Maya that we want to be able to view infinity curves. So in your graph editor, you're going to click on View, click on Infinity, check that on right here. And then with this curve selected, let's see if it'll select the curve, go to posts and click on cycle. Oh, I gotta make this. I see. I gotta end on what I started. I forgot about that. Let's go. So what I'll do, I'll just go after at frame 120. I have this as 7. I'll type in 7 here and press enter. There we go. And now let's go to curves, post, and then cycle. There we go. So now you can see here on the right hand side all the infinity curves playing out here. So we'll do the next one, next curve. And here instead, just to kind of save on this, let me delete this last keyframe here because I need to start and end on the same value to cycle. So it's the same thing here. I'll select this curve. Under curves, I'll click on pre, cycle, and then go back to curves again, post, and cycle. And I'll do the same thing for the next control. Let's look at it in a perspective camera here. Oh, that is my perspective camera. That is odd. Okay. So I've done this control. Let's do the next. We did this one. Let's do the next control. Spine control 4. Drag, delete this one. This curve, drag select them. Curve, pre-cycle, post, cycle. And then the last one, delete that last keyframe. Drag select these. Oh, I think we can click them here too. Pre-infinity cycle, post-infinity cycle. Okay. Look at that. And then we can do the same thing with the tail fins here. So I can copy this curve, Command C, or edit, copy in the graph editor, select the top control here, I'll press edit and paste. See how this looks. And I think the only thing here, I need to go back and look at this last control. We started at frame 13, frame 12. So we'll offset this to frame 16. Drag select this. Offset this. And drag select these keyframes. I do need to see what's going on here. Let's see, how's that looking? Okay, I had to move it to a point where, there we go. Okay. And then do the same thing with the bottom control. So I'll just copy this control, this graph line, see. Edit, copy, select that control, and then edit and paste. There we go. It's a subtle difference, but it's nice to see. All right, and so then we'll work on the side fins. See here, rotate this down. So we were working with rotate Z. So we'll press S and see what this value is. So negative 14. Oops. Enter. If I can just type, that would be great. Okay. S, and then let's see, we'll do every 15 frames, since this is kind of dictating like some push, some engine going on here. Actually, we can make it a little slower. Let's do every 25 frames. So here, I'll go to positive 14, press S, and then back to frame 50, and we can actually end it there because we'll do a cycle. All right, so go to rotate Z. I'll cycle without offset. Go, and then post. And now, I'll copy this, select the keyframes, edit, copy, and I'll paste them, not here. Let me go to frame. Let's do every 6 frames. Edit, paste, and see how this looks. I might have to like adjust the size. So let's just see. I'm gonna go to value of 4 instead, and these two will be negative 4. All right, so let's see how this looks. Let's press play. Okay. And just so, all right, just to kind of give a little bit more motion believability here, I'm gonna go ahead and animate. So this will go from screen right to screen left. So I'll start it here. I'll press S. Oh, why am I on frame 71? I'll just drag this. Let's drag this over here. Okay. Take 2. And I'll drag this over here to frame 120, and I'll move this across. Press S. I can do a slight like rotations here. So rotate Y. So I'm at 2.5, and then maybe here. I'll bring this to 2 point -5, negative 2.5, 2 point negative 2.5. And then I'll do a cycle. Right here at frame 40, I'll press S and type in 2.5 here. Okay, see how this looks. And once you are done, just go here. I'm going to hide my graph editor. Um, Once you are done, frame your composition how you see fit. I'm going to hide my resolution gate because now it will make the render how I want it to be. Under show, I'm going to hide my NURBS curves. I'm going to under show, I'm also going to hide my joints. Actually, you can also, yeah, hide your joints. Where are you? Here you are. I just saw you. And then I'm also going to hide the grid. Right here. And then I'll do a play blast. Right click, play blast. See how this looks. And that's my fish. So you'll save your scene as such, and everything that goes with turning in a tutorial, upload the folder, um, along with the play blast, and that's it. And again, this is extra credit, so but I still wanted to post it just so that you have the option to do that, and if you're interested in animation. Okay, so that's it. Stop recording and save your scene.